What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another stream, and I've just realized how dark it is in my room. Welcome to England, I suppose, where it's always dark. It doesn't help that, I don't know, my lighting setup has gone through many iterations, and it's still not perfect, but you know, it's good enough, I think. So that's it. How are you all doing today? Let me just check in with the chat, and I can see a bunch of people saying hello. So hello to all of you. Good to see some regulars. Good to see some new faces. And what else have we got going on? And Hamza says, "Finally, Alex, what's up? How you doing? How's the study group going? Because I saw on LinkedIn. I can't remember whether it was your post or Angie's post that you guys were doing some cool stuff with Jason. But I hope it's going well. And let me keep scrolling down. What do you mean you can't watch from the customer laptop? What's stopping you? Have they got just this is work related, isn't it? Live streams are always on topic. Let's start right out of the bat. So I do have a couple of announcements. So a couple of things, but there's a really burning question that we need to get out of the way first, and that's from Chameleon. Which cheese is the best for cheeseburgers? Okay, so there's one really, really important point here, and that is that whatever cheese you put on your cheeseburger has to be real cheese. And if your cheese comes in plastic film and pre-cut squares, then it's not real cheese. So, and in fact, I think it should be illegal to call it cheese. So this is my, I'm happy for you to have any cheese as long as it's real life cheese and not plastic squares, whatever those things are. I've tried them. They're disgusting. They're terrible. So yeah, wherever you are in the world, you get them everywhere. You get them here in Europe as well. I see people in the UK having these plastic squares, and it's just it makes my soul bleed, unfortunately. But anyway, with that out of the way, the important stuff done. A couple of announcements. So we do have an upcoming certification. My prediction is it's going to be next week or the week after, in terms of like release dates, but I can't give you an exact release date at the moment. But we've got the practical help desk certification coming out. So if you don't have any experience in tech, and you are going through like our free tier courses, this is a way to kind of like validate your skills and also test yourself in a kind of like an environment where what actually happens when you do get a bunch of tickets. Because there's this interesting thing that happens, like for example, when you do your first pen test, you learn so much from your first pen test that it's unbelievable. And I think having an exam that's a safe environment for you to go in, make a bunch of mistakes, prove what you know, and everything else is a really, really valuable life experience. And it's not a crazy exam. It's going to be like, I don't know, 4 hours or something. So you can do it in an evening, and yeah, it's going to be really, really good. So we've got that coming up. So keep an eye out for that. And then after that, we've got PMPT live training. So you get 3 days of training with Heath, and then 1 day of AppSec with me. I feel like the balance is a little bit off, but it is PMPT training. So it's like mostly network penetration testing focused. So if you're thinking about taking the exam and you kind of want 4 days of like really solid training to deepen your understanding and get live feedback, and also hear all of our like war stories and tips and tricks and advice, and ask us questions and live labs, then hold on, let me check my calendar. When is it? March 17th. There's still a few spaces. A bunch of space seats have already gone, but yeah, March 17th, and it's the 17th, 18th, 19th, and then I'm doing the 20th as well. So so you got 3 days of Heath's soothing expertise, and then 1 day of my crazy accent trying to convince you that web AppSec is the best, and then just don't worry about network pen testing. No, network pen testing's cool, but you know, AppSec's cool too. And I don't know, more people should do AppSec. It's a good field. All right, let me check in with the chat. Scrolling through, all I see is this. There's no context for this, so I'll just shut up, and that's it. So what we'll do is we're going to do a slightly shorter stream today, just because I've got a bunch of other things that I need to dash off and do. But we're going to do a Q&A, and then we're going to do some SQL stuff. I saw there's a new box on TryHackme that has a SQL challenge on it, so we're going to start that. We might not finish it, see how we go, and then we'll keep going. If I had to give up my cats or cheese, I'd give up cheese for sure. Yeah, 100%. Even though without cheese, like where would I get my protein from? It's like the only thing that gives me protein in my diet is cheese. But Pops is asleep here. I'm not going to disturb her. She went wild earlier, and then she was like running in her sleep, like on her side. It was so weird. I think she gets like weird cat dreams. But yeah, I would give up cheese before I give up my cats for sure. All right, let's see. Let me check in with the pinned questions and see where we're at. Oh, okay. This is a good question. So, what's up, Rahul? Right now I'm working as a SOC analyst. How can I switch to pen testing? Any roadmap? Yeah, so a lot of people actually kind of go the other way, which is quite interesting. To be honest, like if you're switching, like you have a load of experience, right, as a blue teamer or as a SOC analyst, and you want to switch to pen testing, the roadmap is the same, except you're going to be able to do it a lot faster. So, for example, if you already have a good understanding of like what attacks look like, what pivoting looks like, what malware looks like, you can just go in and take like, you know, maybe do like an intermediate level course and then get a certification and then just jump over. Whereas somebody who doesn't have that background experience, they're going to have to go through, they're going to have to like learn some scripting, they're going to have to learn about computer systems, they're going to have to learn how web apps work, and all this other stuff. But you probably already have all of that fundamental knowledge already, and you probably already know about things like networking and stuff like that. So the two things that you need to focus on is one, your methodology, and two, I think probably Active Directory, to make sure that you really understand Active Directory attacks. And if you focus on those two things and make sure that you've got a solid methodology down, that's basically what you need to be a pen tester. Because all of the other skills that you've built as to become a SOC analyst are all very relevant to pen testing. All of like the underlying computing skills and knowledge and things like that. So you're in a good spot, I think. Like I say, if you're applying for pen testing jobs, just get a cert and make sure that you understand Active Directory and the common attacks, and make sure you've got a solid methodology down, and you should be good to go. Yeah, that's probably like the best pivot. You're in such a good spot. I think pivoting from anything, unless you're like pivoting from like red teaming into pen testing, that would obviously be easier. But like in terms of any field, if you wanted to pivot from any field into pen testing, from SOC analyst, I think is definitely up there. And I think actually what's interesting is like in terms of understanding technology, the requirements for a SOC analyst are way higher than what a pen tester needs. So I actually think it's harder in terms of like you have to understand more systems and things like this. I think as a pen tester, we can get away with like not knowing some stuff and being like, yeah, you know, I'll Google it, or I'll just build a janky script to do this. Whereas when you're a SOC analyst, if you're trying to identify threats and things like this, you actually need to know what's going on. Like legit, you need to know. So there's no repercussions if you miss something on a pen test, unfortunately. But all right, let's keep scrolling down. Have I found a vulnerability in do a live to find a vulnerability in an Android app? Don't really touch mobile applications that much. Obviously, a lot of mobile applications are just web applications. So from that perspective, yeah, I touch them. But we probably need to like get Live Overflow on or somebody else to do like a deep dive into Android sometime. I'll see if we can get a guest on, because honestly, like mobile's like, it's cool, but I don't work on it enough to be able to be like, here's my expert insight, because I'm not an expert in mobile pen testing, unfortunately. But we'll see if we can get that set up sometime. That'd be cool. What's up, Hamza? What do you think of TryHackme web application penetration testing task, the intermediate one for PWPP? Let's take a look, because it's been a while since I looked at it, and I remember the junior one. I think, if I recall, it's quite good, but I don't really recall. So let me. Oh wow. This is quite funny. I love this. Like, you search for TryHackme and then you get Huntress at the top. This is the thing about like Google's such. Oh, I'm not going to swear on stream. Google is like, you know, obviously like with the sponsored stuff, it's like, why? I reckon if we search for PMPT, AppSec's going to be at the top. Oh, it's not. Okay. It used to be. I'm sure I've searched for this before, and then there's been a sponsored. Oh, who's that guy? A weirdo. I'm sure there's been sponsored stuff from our competitors. Anyway, let me come into here. Can I log in? I don't know what my username and password is. I'm logged in on my host machine, but I'm not logged in here. Hold on. Let me bring up my password manager. Here we go. Feel free to spam this email. I don't ever check it. It's like it's my throwaway streamer email. Let's save the password. Let's not sign into Chrome. Okay, so in here, it's been ages since I looked at oh my god, they've changed stuff. They've changed things. Okay, learn. Here we go. Roadmaps. Oh, come on. Why can't I find what I'm looking for? Is it me, or is it the website is like changed in a bad way? So we've got junior penetration tester. Okay, so this one is quite good. The web fundamentals path, I think, is quite good if you're just whoops, that's a different question. Sorry. So the web fundamentals path is quite good if you've never like done anything before like this. The intermediate one, I don't think, I haven't been through this. So maybe I have. Let me click resume. No, I haven't. I haven't completed any of the modules. Oh, enumeration and brute force. I think the short answer is I'm not sure how good it is. Like the fundamentals one is really good. I think that's quite well put together. But the intermediate one, I'm not sure, because I haven't been through it yet. I have done some of the red teaming one, and that was quite good. It's nice to see that they have like session management and JWTs and OAuth and things like that. So these are all topics that I think are really, really important. But as for the actual labs and stuff, I'm not sure. But I'll look at it at some point, and we'll see if we can figure it out. Anyway, that was a bit of a side quest, little adventure right there. All right. I hate it when people update their websites and then you can't find anything. It's really annoying. And same for Hack the Box. Like the original Hack the Box UI was so easy to use, and now you've just got like stuff everywhere, and it's just crazy, and it's like super heavy. So I don't know. Simple. Keep things simple. I think that's the best thing to do. What's up? Okay, so What languages do we need to get into AppSec, and what would be the pathway? I've taken most of the courses. Oh, nice, congrats. So if you've taken most of the courses, honestly, now it's just about like honing your skills and practice. That's where really it is. So when you start, you're like 90% learning, 10% practice, and then after a few years, you're going to be like 10% learning, 90% practice, right? But in terms of languages, I honestly think there's a big gap in terms of like front-end analysis and JavaScript. A lot of people, Python's kind of like useful because you can automate some stuff, but most of the time, like tools like Kaido and Burp Suite do most of what you need when it comes to like web application pen testing. So honestly, JavaScript, it's huge. It's really, really important, I think. And I think that's like a lot of people stop there because everybody's like focused on backend vulnerabilities, server-side stuff, and they don't focus on the DOM so much. And front-end frameworks are changing so fast, and there's always new frameworks coming out. So being able to test the front end of applications effectively, I think, is kind of a overlooked skill. And I can see why, because it's complicated. Like, honestly, like I tried learning React and it kicks my ass every time. And shout out to Mosh. I've done his React course. If you've ever seen Code with Mosh, there's some really good courses. But I've done his course, and then I've done one of his other courses as well, and I still find React quite difficult to work with. So it's tricky. It's tricky. But yeah, front-end stuff I think is overlooked for sure. JavaScript for Hackers by Gareth Hayes is a really good book as well. Definitely. I don't think I have it on my desk. I think it's upstairs on my bookshelf in my bedroom. But yeah, that's worth checking out. All right. Let me keep scrolling down. Let's see what we've got. Oh, benefits of learning Rust. Yeah, this is an interesting one because obviously a lot of systems are still using, I don't really want to say more traditional languages, but a lot of stuff is still written in things like C. And there are still a lot of jobs there. But it depends what you want to get out of it, really. Like, for me as a web person, is there any benefit in me learning Rust? No, not really. It might be useful on a CTF. But if you are, I don't know, in an industry where applications are being built in Rust, or if you need to interact with systems that are running on Rust, then it's useful, I think. But yeah, modern like memory safe languages are an interesting one. But unfortunately, we suffer from the whole thing of like, we're always going to have legacy in our IT systems. We're never going to get away from that. And so I think it's useful and I think it's important. But, is IPv6 even a thing still? Like, it's been around for so long, nobody uses it. And even when people do like put out IPv6, they just layer it on top of their IPv4 networks. So it's like, what was the point in that? So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's I feel like it should be more popular than it is, but the world can't get away. I mean, we still use email, for Christ's sake. Like, why are we still using email in 2025? Like, a terrible old janky system that's really insecure. Like, I get spam emails from myself, and it's like, it's 2025. How can you not verify the sender of an email from like, a legitimate provider like Gmail or something? Ridiculous. Crazy world that we live in. And then people wonder why phishing happens. Dear, oh dear. I'll stop ranting now. I've gone on an email rant. That always triggers me, email. Hey, what's up? How should I start cybersecurity? Yeah, this is an easy one. So just do an entry-level course. Find like a company or a creator that you vibe with, that you think you can, follow along with, that kind of has, a teaching style that you like. Do an entry-level course, get yourself a certification, work on some side projects, start applying for jobs. That's the best way to go, I think. Networking can really help. Get yourself involved in communities. It's going to help keep you motivated. There's going to be people to answer questions and things like that. So I think that's the best thing to do. But be curious, build a home lab, and consistency. Don't go nuts. Don't be like, spend 10 hours on Saturday hacking and then 10 hours on Sunday hacking and then not do anything for 3 months. It's better to just do like an hour a day or 30 minutes a day and just be consistent. I think that's the biggest thing. But I think that's the biggest indicator of success is people being able to just do stuff in little bits consistently. If you do something a lot and then you burn out, then you're just never going to do it again. Same with like half of my hobbies. Like I've done a lot of stuff in my life, like picked up a lot of random hobbies, and then I just dropped them after a while because I did them too much and then I got bored of them. So yeah, all good. What is my thoughts on certs? Do I think they're overrated to a degree, or 100% with them to help with the job? I think certs are important but they do have like some limitation, right? So they're not the be all and end all. So I've interviewed a lot of people throughout my career, and certifications do give you some kind of level of confidence that somebody has some kind of base knowledge, and then you have to verify that base knowledge in the interview. But they show that somebody's like, they've studied some stuff and then they've gotten the certification and they obviously have some kind of capability. So like you're checking off like loads of base things that are really important. So I think that's quite important. Would I like, and during an interview, if I had two candidates and one had a ton of certifications and the other didn't have certifications or had very few, I wouldn't necessarily just hire the person with certifications. That's why we have interviews as well, because certs don't tell the whole story, but they do save us a lot of time. So I'll give you an example. At my previous job, I opened a position for red teamer, and within a couple of days, I had 50 applications. And it's like, am I going to spend a whole week of my time like reading 50 CVs? So I need ways to like cut them down. And certifications is an easy way for me as an interviewer. It's not the fairest way. It's not the best way. But you know what? I don't have 30 hours to waste reading CVs. And some of them were like pages and pages long. And so, yeah, I think certs are important. And I think they do have a good place. I think sometimes they're overrated. But I think they're only overrated by people who like really care about them. I don't think they're overrated by hiring managers. I think most hiring managers are pretty clued up, and then they're like, we're all good. So all good. All right. Let's start this box, and I will take some more questions in a little bit. If you guys have like some opinions on certs that differ to me, feel free to argue with me. I'm down for like going into the certification rabbit hole. All right. Let's take a look. Oh, I just saw something. Hold on. Roadmap to OSINT Investigator. Yeah, maybe Ange, if you're in the chat, this is the person you need to talk to Ange about this, because she's like, I don't know, OSINT's master. Whereas me, I don't really do much OSINT. So maybe come on stream sometime. I'm calling you out, Ange. Maybe next week or the week after, whenever you have time, and we'll do a dive into OSINT, how to get into it, and things like this. So all good. But yeah, I'm not like I'm like an OSINT dabbler, so I can't really give you like, in good conscience, I can't give you my, this is how you get into OSINT. All right, so let me just pull off the ticker for a sec, because I'm gonna have my terminal open and it's gonna be in the way, I think. How do I do that? Uh-oh. Oh no, I don't know how to do it. Sorry, everybody, give me a second. Let me see if I can figure this out. Oh, there we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, right. We've got full screen again. All right. Where's my box? It's here. So the box we're going to work on today is called Light. And I picked this one because it looks like it was going to be easy. And I spun it up earlier and I had a bit of I poked at it a little bit and it looks like it's going to be fairly straightforward. So we should make some good progress and hopefully learn some cool stuff. And let's come into here. So sudo openvpn. It's a TryHackme box. So I'm just going to come into here like this. And then I'm going to come into here. And then we're just going to come into here. And then we're going to scan this box, assuming that it's up. And see what comes back. And only SSH. Okay, let's scan all ports and see what comes back. And see what happens. And then we wait for 5 minutes, and then we come back. Oh, there we go. Okay, so 1337. This is obviously if you ever port scan something and you see the port 1337 is open and you're doing a CTF, this is probably the way, unless the box creator is trying to troll you. So how are we going to do this? Let's do just -A. I wonder if we can just connect. Yeah. So okay. So in the instructions it says, "I'm working on a database application called Light." I suspect Light is a hint. So if it might be a SQLite database. Would you like to try it out? When you do a lot of CTFs, you notice these things, I suppose. It might not be a hint, but I suspect it is. If so, the application is running on port 1337. We can connect using Netcat. And we can use the name Smokey in order to get started. Okay, cool. I had a cat once called Smokey when I was younger. He was huge. He was like a puma. Unfortunately, he ran away. But obviously, he didn't like me that much. But that's a shame. But he was cute. He was all right. I had a bit of an attitude. But all good cats have attitudes. So we can connect with Netcat. Let's see what happens. All right, so welcome to the Light database. I hope the text is big enough. I think that's quite, like looking at my screen, we're good. And then we've got the username Smokey. And then, and look, we've got the password. Okay, so I assume this isn't just like the answer and then we just SSH in as Smokey with this and then get the flag. Hold on, let me, whoops. Okay, so we've got to get the admin username, the passwords to the username mentioned in question 1, and the flag. Okay, so the admin. Okay, username not found. So we could fuzz this and try and find the admin username, but that would be not so much fun. Okay, whoops. So we got a SQL error here with a single quote. Limit 30. Interesting. So it's only ever going to return 30. What if we do Smokey? Whoops. Like this. Yeah, okay. So you can see like the back end of the SQL query. And it's so we've got probably something like select all from users or select password from users where username equals Smokey, limit 30. And you can see that we've got this. This is breaking our SQL syntax here. So what's important here, right? Whenever you come to an injection, we have to think about what's our input, right? What's our injection point? Obviously, it's here, and we're injecting into this query. And then we also need to think about what is coming back from the application. What's the application providing to us? What is the application behavior? And so my hypothesis here is that we can obviously inject into here. This is like pretty obvious because we can inject a single quote, we can throw an error. And then we have a single column that's being returned to us. So I suspect what we can do is, instead of grabbing Smokey, we can say, hey, select blah, 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 whatever the SQL statement is, where username equals blank, so it doesn't return anything or it returns no results. And then maybe we can potentially union select some data and then return that data. Now, the problem is if we use Smokey and then do union select afterwards, we're going to be returning multiple columns of data. And so we're probably only going to be able to see the first one rather than all of them, is what I suspect. We need to like test this and verify. But this is an interesting one because actually I pen tested an application quite a while ago, and it had dynamic SQL on the login. And I've recreated this situation in the code review module of the advanced web hacking course. And what happens is it selects the user from the database. And then if there's a valid user, there's another function that gets called, and then it compares the passwords. And the problem here is that you can obviously inject into the username and the password because it's using dynamic SQL, but because the password gets hashed, the username is your only real legit injection point. And then based on the username, because it only comes back as a true false, and then the other function is called based on that true false, you only have kind of some control. And so the way to solve it is to make sure that the initial query doesn't respond with anything, but then your second query does. And what you do is really clever. It's a cool challenge. So you select all from users where username equals blank, union select, and then you inject a username and password, and you inject the password hash. So you need to understand, like from the code review, you can understand how the passwords are being hashed. And then it's using bcrypt with like 10 rounds. And you generate a bcrypt hash, you inject the hash into your payload, and then you put the clear text password into the password field. And then it hashes that and it compares what your results came back with using the union select rather than what the database returns, and then bypasses the login, which is, I don't know, if you have a membership to the Academy, go and check out that lab because it's a really nice one. And it's a really interesting SQL injection because I scanned the application with Burp Suite and I scanned it with SQL Map, and neither of those found the SQL injection. They were both like, everything is fine. But manual testing, you could verify the SQL injection. And then, of course, with code review, you could then figure out this logic and you could figure out the auth bypass. So this is like, I've just gone off on a complete tangent, but this is a really cool challenge that is kind of similar to what we're doing here, which is my main point, in that we have one injection point and then we're only returning one piece of data. So if we want to return lots of data, we're probably going to have to like group it somehow. And there are database functions to group things. So this is, I don't know, that's like my brain dump of where we're at. And hopefully that helps you kind of like think about, when we're trying to solve these challenges, how to think through it logically and how to come up with ideas on how to do stuff. So let's do Smokey. In fact, actually, let's not do that. Let's do blank. So the password field is going to be empty, or this return here is going to be empty. And let's just try union select 1 like this. Oh, I wonder, actually, let's do, can I do this? Okay. Can I do this and just get rid of the, no, we can't do that. Okay, so we're gonna have to do some filtering. Unrecognized. So this one gives us an unrecognized token. This one is filtered. Let's do, hold on, let me bring up Chrome. Let's go to CyberChef. And let's see if we can get some special characters working. What's going on? Okay, so I want this, and I want URL encoding. So %0A. So let's try smoky %0A. No, it doesn't like that. What if we try? Does this not? Oh yeah, encode all special characters. %2D. Doesn't like that either. What else can we try? Instead of URL encoding, let's see. Oops. Base 64, it's probably not going to help us. Two hacks. That's not going to help us. Oh, can we do like %23? Something like this. Unrecognized token still. What about 0x? Maybe somebody in the chat has got it. Yeah, we could try 0x. Like this? No, we have to use the percentage, and it didn't like that for some reason. Tricky. What else can we do? I wonder if it's like this. No. Okay. Let me clear and reconnect, and let's think about this. So we don't have a legit terminator. So what we could do is, instead of using a terminator, what we can try and do is make sure that the SQL is like valid. So if we do something like smoky union select one, like this, and then like this, and then that's going to get closed, and then we're going to get like limit 30 on the end, like this. Okay. So here we get some filtering, right? And but we don't get a SQL error, and I think this is quite like this is good progress. So let me try this, and then I'm going to check in on the chat. Let's try just camel case or whatever union. Like this. There we go. Yeah, so we've got valid SQL here. And you can see that this returns 1, which is interesting because actually, so it's returning the last field that's being selected, because it should select the password for like smoky, as we know, like this. So this is like obviously filtering through the results and giving us the last one. So that makes sense. All right. Let's see. Oh yeah, circuits. The forbidden payload. Yeah, we could try that. We could try that. Cool. Okay. Let's keep going for a little bit and then see how far we get. And then I'll answer some more questions because we've only got about 20 minutes left today, unfortunately. So here we have a working payload. I wonder if we can actually just union selects one like this. Yeah, so we can simplify our payload to something like this, which is nice. So we have a starting point. Now, My guess is we're working with either MySQL or we're working with SQLite because it's the box is called Lights. Could be something like Postgres or something like that. But I think the next step is try and figure out what the database is. And then from there, based on that, we can then try and look to exfiltrate information, maybe even get code execution, probably not, but we'll see. So how do we want to do this? Let's do union select. And let's do version like this. And I wonder actually, how are we going to do the quotes? If it just opens, closes, maybe we don't get a SQL error. So hold on, let me verify that. Union select, whoops, 1 like this. Okay, so we can use this syntax here. It doesn't like this. So let's sorry about that. My cat's just destroying my microphone as usual. Union select version. Hopefully you can all still hear me okay. Oh, no such function as version. Okay. So that's probably not MySQL. Was it? Can we do SQLite version like this? I don't know the other ones. Aha, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so we're using SQLite. So we have 3.31.1. And the reason I remember this is because I've been working with SQLite quite a lot recently, building CTFs. So I've been writing loads of SQLite syntax recently. So there you go, an easy one. But obviously you could look this up. And obviously there's like Portswigger, SQLite, cheat sheet. You can come into here and there's a bunch of versions here. Only has like the big 4. But, you know, this is a good place to start. Like we tried this and we tried this and we tried this. So this is all good. Let's do SQLite, SQLite cheat sheets. Let's see what we can find. Sometimes the Invicti ones are good. Payloads all the things is obviously good. Portswigger doesn't have it in this case. And they have like this key. Okay, I just want SQLite though. Okay, SQLite. Error-based, time-based, RCE maybe. This could be fun. SQLite string. Okay, so we've got this. Extract the database structure. Let's try this. Select SQL from SQLite master. So we might only get 1 row returned, but let's try union select. Whoops. Select SQL. I wonder if we're going to get filtered with the from keyword, but let's see. What is it? A SQLite master like this. Okay, so we've got an admin table. I wonder if there's more tables that exist, but it can only return one result. Because it's got the limits on it. Let's try union select SQL from SQLite schema. Ooh, okay, so there's no schema table. Okay. What if we do, I'm thinking we can try this group concat. Union select group concat SQL from SQLite master. Interesting. So we get a user table now. And then there's the admin table. Okay, so there's only 2 tables. So we have the user table and the admin table. Okay, that's progress. This is pretty nice. Oh yeah, Chameleon's spot on, I can see. Combine it with group concat. Yeah, nice. All good. Okay, so what are the questions? What is the admin username? Okay, so how do we get some data from this? We actually already have the column names, so we can just do something like union selects group concat username from user table. There we go. Here are all of, and this is the smoky one. Okay, so let's do the same from admin table. Oh, we've got TryHackme, admin, and flag. Okay, this might be the answer. What's the admin username? Yes, we got points. Okay, so what is the password for this user? So let's do this again. We could do like a where username equals TryHackme admin, but yeah, I'm going to assume it's this. Oh no, this is the flag, and this is the thingy one. So what's the flag? Whoops, I didn't select it correctly. Let's grab this. Boom. And then what's the the admin password? Box complete. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That was a cool little challenge. I actually really like challenges like this because they kind of just make you think about the underlying technology and the context in which things are executing and how they're set up. And to be honest, like building web app pen testing skills is great, but building troubleshooting skills honestly is like what takes you to like the next level. So even with simple things, like if you've never worked with SQLite before, then this is a great way to kind of just like get used to the syntax, understand the attack surface, and understand what you can do. So this is like a cool little, I love doing these kinds of challenges. And I think doing lots of these kinds of challenges is really, really beneficial for your learning. So, all right, that's a box out of the way. We've got about 10 minutes left. So let's answer some more questions, and then we'll finish up for tonight. And yeah, so don't forget, we've got a new set coming. So that's going to be fun. So if you're starting from zero, I think it's really going to help some of you out. And also live training next month with me and Heath. So PMPT from March 17th to the 20th. So if you need some extra help getting some skills solidified and then getting the exam smashed, then the live training is where it's at. Live training is pretty fun as well. You come in as a cohort, you get like a nice group on Discord. And to be honest, from seeing like previous live trainings, like people, you know, like work together and then form like long-term friendships, which is quite nice as well. So it's kind of like a nice little thing of going through like a boot camp or a course with other people, is that you can meet like-minded people along the way. Let me try and get back to some of these pinned questions and see how we're doing. Oh, how likely is it that you'll land a career using TryHackme? I think it's just like a part of a bigger picture. Like, I don't think there's one thing that you can rely on to be like, this is it, this is my career done. There are plenty of things like TryHackme, I think is really, really good for practice. But like, for example, at TCM, we kind of teach like methodologies and ways of thinking, and we give labs, but we don't have like the vast number of labs TryHackme has. But our goals and aims are quite different, if that makes sense. So we're kind of like teaching you the methodology behind it, and then you can take that methodology away and then apply it to all of these labs and things. So I think using TryHackme on its own is not ideal. I think you should utilize the right tools for the right job, right? There's a bunch of things that we need to work on. And of course, you know, thinking about your career as well, you know, interview skills, interview prep, different kinds of skills, not just hacking skills. There are probably very few jobs in the world that just require pure hacking skills and nothing else. Most jobs, like 99% of jobs, require a host of different skills, all at different percentages, of course, but like pretty much, like I would say 99% of jobs require some kind of communication skills, right? And then maybe 50% of jobs require high communication skills. That beyond, I would say you have like if you're really salty and people don't like talking to you and things like this, then you probably have very low communication skills. Most jobs, that's not okay. So it's like there's a lot to think about in terms of a career. Unfortunately, it's not all just hacking. Report writing is another good example. Being able to explain your findings, being able to help development teams remediate issues that you find, being able to get across best practices and design principles that might impact how an application or system works. Because that's all part of it. And the percentages of those skills are different in different roles, but they're all still there pretty much. Let me keep scrolling down. What do I advise a person who just started? Be consistent. Don't try and do everything straight away. Enjoy the learning journey. The learning never stops. So just, have a growth mindset and make sure that whatever you do, it's manageable. You'll stick with something for years and years if it's manageable. If you stress yourself out and try and go dive into the deep end, you'll just drown. And that's, and which is you'll burn out basically. So yeah, it's all good. Oh, are there any boxes on TryHackme that work specifically on Express and Node.js applications? I can't remember. I did apply. I uploaded one, but it didn't pass their QA because there was a workaround, and then I never fixed it, and so my box never got released. I will check it onto GitHub at some point, just so you guys can see it. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Good question though. Also, what's up? How's it going, Louis? I hope you're doing well. It's been a while since we caught up. Yeah, I don't know. But if you come across any, let us know. But I'll need to have a look and see what we can find. I'm sure there are some for sure, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me answer 2 more or 3 more questions. Is there a real market for web development, app, cybersecurity? Yes, there's a huge market for AppSec. Yeah, AppSec engineering, developers with security skills. It's a massively growing field. And I think that at some point, I still think pentesting is kind of on the rise, but I think pentesting is going to plateau at some point, and I think AppSec is going to continue to grow because everything these days is a web application. Pretty much all new companies are building web apps. And also traditional development doesn't really do justice for security. And if for example, I've got Tanya Young, I've got her most recent book upstairs. Follow Tanya Younker, and if you want to kind of get updates on what's happening in the world of AppSec, Tanya's the person to follow. And she's got 2 great books, one on application security, which for me, I really enjoyed reading this, and I use it as a reference because I can't remember everything, but the way the book is laid out, when I forget something, or if I need to know something, or if I'm what's that security header again, or what's the best practice for this? This book is excellent. And I've just started reading her secure coding book, which dropped last week. So that's really nice as well. But yeah, AppSec is a huge field, a really huge field, and there are tons of jobs. And that's my background is AppSec mostly, not entirely, but mostly. Yeah, working with internal development teams to build better products is where it's at, in my opinion. Do I think being a woman makes it more difficult getting hired? Yeah, good question. I think it can go both ways. I think like obviously some people hire with diversity in mind, and then they'll think, there's a really good candidate here who is also a woman or also from a particular minority or something like this. And I think that can swing things in your favor. But I suspect it can also work against you in some industries and some fields as well. Unfortunately, having worked in Japan, I've seen like it's really difficult if you're being a white man in Japan. Everything is easy, like it's great. But unfortunately, if you're not a white man in Japan, if you have a different background, or if you're a woman, unfortunately, you don't get treated very well, and the job opportunities are less. And that's just, it sucks. It's really difficult. But I think it can work both ways, for sure. So I think the main thing is to kind of try and lean into it as like part of your personal brand, because everything is like, I think like your backgrounds, who you are as a person, the way you look, and all of these other things are kind of like part of your personal brand. And you can try and steer that in a positive way. And I think that's the best way to look at it. For me, I'm always like, like I've got this quirky British accent, and I look like Live Overflow, and so I'm just sailing off Live Overflow's fame. No, not really, but like those are things that like are my personal brand, and like I don't know. Hopefully, people like it, and that does things in a good light. So I think that's the best way to try and deal with it, I suppose. But like I say, I think it can go both ways. I think in some organizations, it can definitely be a hurdle. But I think in other organizations, it might be open opportunities. Oh, Brit's just saying, can I show the book again? Yeah, this one is quite good. And I think the other one, hold on, let me see if I can find it. 1 second. No, it's I think it's upstairs somewhere. I think I was reading it before bed last night, so I'd have to go all the way upstairs. But yeah, Tanya Yanka, go follow her on LinkedIn. I'm sure she's on all the platforms, but yeah, all good. All right, let me take one more question, and we'll wrap up for today. Let's see. There are some good ones in here. So many good ones. If you do have a burning question, by the way, and I couldn't get to it, if you drop into our Discord, which is discord.gg/TCM, or it might be / the Cyber Mentor. Can't remember which one it is. Somebody will post it in the chat. Then there's a Wednesday live vibes, and if you put your question in there, I'll try and get to it at some point as well. So yeah, let me scroll down and pick one final question. I'm trying to look for a quirky one rather than because I can see quite a few like we've answered, in the past and things like this. So let's go with. Oh no, just quickly. I can't show you my desk right now. It's so messy. It's ridiculous. But I have 3 monitors and then one horizontal. I'll post a picture at some point. But today's not a good day for a desk tour. Honestly, it's an absolute mess. I got like bowls of pasta and like cold cups of tea and my cats and like chili sauce and whatever this thing is, and lemonade, and these are cool though, by the way. So if you know Lena ran the malware village at B-Sides. You can get like Malmon patches from her shop, which are cool. So this one's Stuxnet and WannaCry. So there you go. You can get like these cool patches and attach them to things. So I have one of her pictures kicking around. I think it's in my folder somewhere. But all good. All right, and I think that's all we have time for today. Let me do the cat tax quickly. Come here, Pops. How you doing? Here she is. Poppy says, thanks for the live stream. And she's like, what's going on? Are you doing it? And yeah, thanks everybody. Like I say, drop into the Discord if we didn't have time to get to your questions. And appreciate you all hanging out today. And hopefully you enjoyed the challenge. And